Hi, this is David Humphreys, and now we're looking at locations in Location Due Diligence tutorial, and this is part 5. Now I've just put in Islip, which is a small village outside of Oxford, and I want to show you how careful you need to be in drawing locations. This is the location, this is the area that Rightmove thinks Islip is, and if I enlarge it fractionally, hope not too big, you will see that here we've got Mill Street, and for one reason or another Rightmove crosses off Mill Street, the bottom end of Mill Street where there is housing is sort of deleted from Islip. And likewise, if I move the map across a bit here we've got a close, but there's a property inside that close, as you can see. And this close is just in Islip, but there's housing in this close and on down further down this street. And then over here you need to check that there's no housing further up the Bletchington Road before agreeing that that was the boundary. But it's more relevant, it's down here where there's a whole series of streets. Now I know Islip quite well, and I can tell you that there's housing down here, there's housing on North Street at the bottom, there's housing at Middle Street. In fact, and coming back up this road here, in fact it doesn't stop. The housing doesn't stop until about this point. And then at the bottom end, again, it's cut across here and ignores K Street altogether. So this is what Rightmove thinks Islip is. Let me show you what I think Islip is. This is my drawn area of Islip. As you can see, I've straightened out the boundary here and pushed it past the station. I've come down on the east side and picked up this road that's leaving Islip. Come on the south side, I've picked up that close there. On the west side, I've brought all of Mill Street into it and come up this road that goes over the railway line, and also I've included this close and the road on out of Islip. So you must be careful in defining the location before you start making up the neighbourhoods. Now, in this particular case, the centre of Islip, which is about here, where I've got the cursor, everything in Islip is within a quarter mile. So the reason for showing you Islip, and this will apply to a lot of villages in the countryside, the mining villages up in County Durham, down into Kent, the Welsh Valleys, 3 examples. This is both a location, because you can't include Islip with anything else. It's the nearest next village or conurbation, whatever, is Kidlington, and that is, what, 2.5–3 miles away. So Islip is both a location and a neighbourhood all in one. So you'd write up Islip as that. You can't really have a sort of series of villages. It's possible in the valleys of Wales and possibly in the County Durham area, but you will find locations which are also neighbourhoods as well. One location, one neighbourhood. Okay, but you're still left being able to drill down to neighbourhood level. Right. I've now moved back to my North Oxford drawn area. As you can see, the location, North Oxford tutorial drawn area. I've put other in again because I don't want to see all the houses. At this point, all I'm interested in is properties on a map. I'm looking at the map that Rightmove, well, in this case, I've drawn my own map. And now I'm going to show you how, I'll show you how I defined a location. How we draw a location is exactly the same, how we draw a neighbourhood is exactly the same way. But I will draw the neighbourhood of Cutslow for you. Now, to move from a drawn area to Cutslow, the simplest thing to do is to put a postcode in. And you should know a postcode in one of your neighbourhoods. OX28LP is a postcode, so I'm going to put that in, and that will and update it. Again, I'm going for the other. I don't want to see loads of properties. I simply want to draw maps. So I'm going to update the result onto OX28LP. I'm going to put something in. I told you this is a live. Okay, let's put a house in. Hope not too many of them. Ah, right. Okay, so I need to make it smaller. So here is the neighbourhood. It's a bit difficult to see the streets on this particular screen, but this is the neighbourhood that I'm interested in. Okay, so I quite simply go to draw a search again. Draw a search. And I've got my little star again, and I start off with a click. I then come straight out, making certain I pass all the streets, drop down to the ring road and get into the ring road. Don't go alongside it. You never know, there may be housing on it. In this particular section there isn't any housing on it. Up to the roundabout, and now you've got to decide whether your neighbourhood includes all of the Banbury Road or part of it. So I'm going to have it as part of it. So I'm going to come up and say, I'm not certain how accurate Rightmove is on this stuff. If I click there, straight line, go around the corner, bingo, and then finish off there, and that's my neighbourhood. Okay. I've got to delete an area. Well, I've drawn this already, so I will simply go and get the one that I've drawn. Apparently you are restricted to a maximum of 20 areas per account, but I will go and get the area that I've drawn. This is the neighbourhood of Cutslow. As you can see, Cutslow drawn area. This is the area of Cutslow that I drew in. So I started up at the corner here, picked up these two little areas of housing, came across, went down the outside of this street here, down onto the A40, came across, and then tracked along the actual Banbury Road itself. Okay, so there is a drawn area, a neighbourhood called Cutslow, and everybody in the locality knows about it. Just to give you some idea of, I'll show you later what it looks like, but expensive housing here. Haywood Road, Templar Road, Harbord Road, down to ex-local authority housing in this corner. In fact, that's probably an ex-local authority house. Templar Road, yes, see this? Ex-local authority, £250,000. And that was ex-local authority as well. But here is expensive housing, as you can see, £340,000. On this section here, that they're £500,000 houses, £500,000. So there is a location. And just to show you the other neighbourhoods, rather, keep on not getting wrapped in neighbourhoods and locations, to show you the other neighbourhoods in North Oxford. We've got now how you find other drawn areas in North Oxford or other drawn areas is you go to your Rightmove, and in Rightmove, your Rightmove, having registered, you've got drawn areas. Okay, so I'm going to click on this drawn areas. It brings up a list of drawn areas over here, and now I can open up these drawn areas. So this is the North Oxford tutorial area, which I drew earlier for you, and now I've got another area here called North East Oxford. If I just open that up for you, you'll see that this area is from the boundary on down to that crossover road, okay, and through there. And then I've also got many other neighbourhoods in this list. Some of them are London, and all of them are neighbourhoods that I look at from investment purposes. Now, that's how you get locations and neighbourhoods up in Rightmove. But there's a further little wrinkle to this due diligence game, and that is the ability to be able to go and look at these roads without having to get in the car and drive. And that is done using Google. So I'm now going to go across and get a Google Maps up. Now here we are in Google Maps, as you can see, and the first thing you do is put in a postcode, OX2, with regard to the location, OX28LP, and that brings up the neighbourhood that we're talking about of Cutslow. Okay, so having done that, move it across a bit, and let's get it a little bit smaller so we can see the whole of it. There we go. Right, we then go to My Places, okay, My Places, and click on that. And that brings up the option to create a map. Now, you're going to create a map which is the duplicate of the map you've created in Rightmove. The difference is that Google has this little man here that you're able to drop in on a street and have a look round the neighbourhood whilst you're sitting hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of miles away. So let's just look at this, and I'm going to create a map. So we click on this, and that brings up, we'll title it CUTTLESOWE number 2. So I've already created one of these, and that brings up the opportunity to edit the map features, put one of these little place marks in, or draw a line. Now it's very important, if you click on this down arrow, you could draw a line along roads, which would appear to be what you want to do, but you don't in fact, or draw a shape. We simply want to draw a line and nothing more than that, okay? So we're not going to click on these two, so we want to draw a line. So you click on this, click to start drawing a line, and you've got this X coming up, and so you start off at the same point as you did with Rightmove. You have to click on it, and then draw across, and then make another click, and then draw down. I haven't gone far enough across. I should have gone across to that point, and then draw down, and then come back up. And once again, it's important to trace the road, okay? And also, as you can see in Google, you get the distance coming up as well from the last point we stopped. And then you click, that's the end of it. And so it now asks you to put the title in and plain text and so forth. So CUTTSOWE number 2, and you put. Now the big advantage of doing this is that these maps can be looked at by anybody else. Down here you've got the option of making them public or unlisted. Tick public, and you can then look at this map with a client, with a lender, with a JV partner, and talk about it, okay? And this is the big advantage. You're able to discuss, I can discuss with clients of mine locations and have a look around a location, and they can be sitting in Australia. In fact, one is. But that's the big advantage of this. You can make these maps public, and therefore you can look at them along with a client or a friend or whoever. Now this is the map I created of Cutslow earlier. We're still in Google. You can see Cutslow, and what I'm able to do is to take this little man and drop him into the street, so I can have a look at the street. So if I drop him into here as an example, then it opens up, and I can do a quick 360 degrees around the street. Okay. As I said, at this end of the neighbourhood, it's very expensive. If I go up the street a bit, you will see that there are very nice houses here. Now if I get out of there and move the map across a bit, and then take the little man and drop him down into this area down here, and I said it's ex-local authority land, and here you've got ex-local authority houses. So it's very easy to go and view. Now the thing to remember is that these Google Maps are 1, 2, 3, I don't know actually how old they are, but they're certainly not up to date in the sense of necessarily absolutely current, but they do give you a very good opportunity to be able to sort of walk around. Walk around the location and a neighbourhood, and specifically neighbourhoods. I don't draw Google location maps. What I do is I draw Google neighbourhood maps to take this little man facility. This, by the way, is the park that I mentioned that forms a boundary of this particular neighbourhood. Lovely houses down here overlooking the park. These are south facing at the front. So west facing at the front. What am I talking about? West facing. So as you can see, the sun's setting in the west. So these are west facing at the back, on top of parkland. This is why they're £250,000 plus ex-local authority housing. Back to the street view, which is off the picture. I can show you how I'm doing that. Let's drop the man in again on another oh, I know what I can show you. I want to show you park close. There's the park. It's nice. Okay. Back to the street view. It's up in the corner here. Exit to street view. So it says exit street view. It's exiting to street view. So you press the button there, and you go back to street view. And I'm going to show you the block of flats there in Park Close. You can see so much on Google Maps. To me, it's a wonderful tool. I use it a huge amount when I'm doing auction due diligence, because I can look at a development like this or a street. I can walk around it, just go bigger up there, go out to there, and you're out into the street. And linking up with the auction details, I could go and find the actual house on the street and have a look around it and see whether the next door house is half decent or a wreck. So this is the sort of last part of due diligence, is to complete the form, complete the report with as much detail as you possibly can, and then we go into let's get out of this. We then go into creating the location and defining what the location is, and then we map that location out and subdivide it into neighbourhoods, and which are quite small. This neighbourhood, as I said, you could probably walk from this point on Templar Road across to that point over there in, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes, depends how fast you walk obviously, but of that sort of order, 15 minutes maximum. And you're able then to say, by duplicating it onto Google, you're able to discuss a neighbourhood with a co-investor or a joint venture partner or a customer. And remember, this can be both public and private. So that brings me to an end of the due diligence tutorial. I hope you found it interesting. You really can't do enough due diligence. You can't really sort of over-egg the pudding. but it is important to be able to demonstrate what you do to a third party, particularly if you are looking to borrow money or work jointly with somebody else. Then you've got to think about your customer, your tenant, your buyer, whoever your customer is. At the end of the day, it's almost certainly going to be a buyer in the frame as a customer. And with the report that you've compiled, the links to the various websites, getting it onto Google, getting it onto Rightmove, you can then discuss it publicly. You can discuss your report over Skype. I'm a great fan of Skype, because you can share screens. But the tools are there to be able to do really efficient, proficient and professional due diligence, and provide the person who's reading the report with all your supporting evidence, with your supporting sources. So you can quote Rightmove, you can quote Mouse Price, for instance, you can quote Property Price Crash or Property Snake or whatever. You can quote your sources, you can quote the planning authorities, you can quote the local housing strategy. All your sources are visible inside or contactable inside your due diligence report. So I'll just go and get the front cover again and finish off this tutorial. So there you have Property Investor Mastermind's Location Due Diligence report, which is, as I say, is a 40-page report available free download from Property Investor Mastermind. Well, I assume you've already downloaded it if you're doing this tutorial. The tutorial comes in 5 parts now. I can't finish without mentioning and thanking my colleague on this project, Monique Rom, who has done all the graphics on this this report. She's the one who designed it and worked with me on it, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you found it useful. I hope it helps you in your quest to be a property investor, and I hope it makes you more successful. So this is David Humphreys signing off, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tutorial that we do, which will be on, I think, the first main tutorial on the financial dynamics is the potential profits in property investment, which again I think has 2 or 3 parts to it. Anyway, I hope you found this useful, and it's been fun. And thank you for both viewing and listening. David Humphreys saying goodbye.